All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are now going to get into talking about, everybody's favorite thing, injury updates. So, it's already week 2. Well, now we're moving on to week 3, but already some major injuries around the league. And the two that I wanted to focus on are Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp. So, when it comes to Cooper Kupp, so he suffered an ankle injury on Sunday against the Cardinals early on in the game, and he was seen in a walking boot, and Sean McVay did say he's going to miss an extended period of time. And this is coming off of last week, week 1, where he had a big game against the Lions, and, I was saying it, and many people on social media were saying it too, Cooper Kupp is back, and especially with Puka Nacua being out, it looked like Cooper Kupp was on his way to once again, being one of the top receivers in the league. Because of the amount of time Stafford is going to target him now, with now no Puka. But that's not the case because now he's hurt, and he's probably going on IR, and he's going to miss an extended period of time, and it just stinks. And really for the Rams, and I'm going to do a segment tomorrow talking about all the 0-2 teams, but it's going to, all the obstacles now that the Rams have to overcome right now, it's really going to be hard for them to be that same team from last year. I think we're on our way to seeing more of the 2022 Rams because they got decimated by injuries that season, the year after the Super Bowl, and now it kind of seems like the same thing is happening here because now Cooper Kupp is hurt, Puka Nacua already getting hurt in week 1, the offensive line is banged up, and on top of that, you got a defense that, is trying to find its footing because, you got no Aaron Donald and, you still got a lot of young guys on the defense as well. It's just, I think, I said if anybody could do it, it's Sean McVay, but, when you got all these injuries stacking up, it's kind of hard. At some point, injuries take over, and it's too hard to overcome. And I just think that's where we are right now with the Rams. I had them making the playoffs as a wild card team. Right now, they could finish if they're not able to tread water until some of these guys come back and the offensive line can get healthy, this team could be, close to a bottom 5 team. That's really how I feel about it. Because the other thing, too, is, at some point, Matthew Stafford could get hurt. He already got hurt in week 1. So, he could get hurt again, and then what do you do? So, yeah, the Cooper Kupp being out, that is a major loss for this team. They're like I said, they're decimated with injuries right now. And, you got Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell. Those guys are going to have to step up. And Tyler Johnson as well. They're going to have to step up in these guys' absences. They still got Kyron Williams, who had a good season last year. They got to find a way to tread water until, some of these guys come back. But it's going to be a while, and I think by then it's going to be too late, and the Rams are going to be pretty much out of it. But who knows? They had a second-half run last year. So, who's to say they can't do that again this year? But with the injuries, it's going to be a lot to overcome. So, yeah, that's one of the major injuries. And then also Deebo Samuel. So, he's not going to be placed on IR. He's going to miss at least the next couple of games with the calf strain. And, yeah, it's just another blow to this 49ers team. And, I have my concerns with the 49ers. Now, these two teams, the Rams and the Niners, they do play each other next week, or this week, rather. And I think the 49ers still should win that game, but it's not going to be pretty. And, Brock Purdy, turned the ball over against the Vikings on Sunday. And, you're already without McCaffrey. Now Deebo's out. And, George Kittle, it was just for cramping, so he should be all right. But, it's not looking good right now for the Niners and their offense. Brandon Ayuk got paid. He's going to have to step up in Deebo's absence, which I think he will. Brock Purdy's going to really rely upon him as we go along here until Deebo comes back. And then hopefully, you get McCaffrey soon after that. But, yeah, the 49ers, it's another one of those years for them, too, because, in 2020, they got ravaged by injuries. And it's kind of the same thing here. They go on a Super Bowl run, they make it to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, they lose it, and then the following season they're dealing with a ton of injuries. That's basically what's happening here. Now, thankfully, their whole defensive line is not hurt. Although Nick Bosa, actually, I think he got banged up in this game as well against the Vikings. But yeah, it's looking like another one of those years for the Niners. But you hope that's not the case. And it doesn't seem. I mean, Deebo's only going to miss a game or two, and then and McCaffrey hopefully is back soon after that. But yeah, I mean, same thing for the Rams as it is for the 49ers. Guys are going to have to step up. Juwan Jennings, who also got banged up as well. You got him. You got Ronnie Bell. There are guys. I think Chris Conley is still on the team as well. So guys are going to have to step up. And I think the 49ers, they'll be able to withstand this. Like I said, they play the Rams this week. I think the 49ers should beat the Rams, and it's going to be tough for the Rams if they lose because then they're going to go 0-3, and their playoff hopes are going to continue to dwindle. Again, after 3 weeks, we're already talking about that, but it's true though. So yeah, the Niners got the Rams. Then they got the Patriots at home, the Cardinals at home. I mean, they realistically should win their next 2 games. The Cardinals is going to be a tough game, the way that offense looked on Sunday. The 49ers are going to have to win their next 2. Because, yeah, you got the Cardinals at home, then you're at the Seahawks, home against the Chiefs, home against the Cowboys, and then you got a bye in Week 9. So, I mean, you should get Deebo back by the time you play the Cardinals or the Seahawks, but, McCaffrey will be a little bit after that. So hopefully he's back at least before the bye week. 49ers got a tough schedule, though. Because you move along here after the bye week, then you're at Tampa, home against the Seahawks, at the Packers, at the Bills, home against the Bears, who got a good defense. The Rams, I mean, we'll see what they look like late in the year. At the Dolphins, home against the Lions, and then at the Cardinals. This is not an easy schedule. This is a tough schedule for the Niners. So they got to hope that they get their guys back healthy. So, but yeah, Deebo's not a long-term thing, and the 49ers are being as precautionary as they can with McCaffrey. So, you hope that this extra, time off, on IR, he gets fully healthy, and then he'll be ready to go when his time, when it's time. So, but yeah, those are the big injuries. I mean, then, some other injuries, and I did touch upon this, Isaiah Pacheco suffering the ankle injury, the broken fibula. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. That's a big loss for the Chiefs. We'll see how their running game looks like on Sunday against the Falcons. The Jets had a couple of injuries. C.J.Mosley got carted off against the Titans, and also Jermaine Johnson as well. 2 key pieces on their defense getting hurt. And, we'll see if they end up paying Hassan Reddick, because they're kind of thin right now. But yeah, it's just... Also, Justin Herbert got x-rays. He got rolled up on in the second half against the Panthers. It doesn't seem like it's too serious. I think, more news would have been made about that if it was really serious. But, he was hurt in the offseason. So, you want to make sure Herbert's right, because you don't want to go into a game against T.J. Watt with Easton Stick as your starting quarterback. Even though, did win, didn't win a game. But, don't want him being the starting quarterback. I was going to say, didn't play that bad against the Bills in the second game that he started, but the Bills ended up winning that game anyways. I still have nightmares from him because he was one of the reasons why I lost my my playoff game in fantasy last year. So, but yeah, injuries, they continue to be annoying. Again, we've made it through 2 weeks, and already the injuries are starting to pile up. So hopefully, that changes. But I said that last year, and look what happened. So, but yeah, 2 major injuries. To the 2 teams in the NFC West that they will be matching up against each other this week. So, for the 49ers, I think they'll be okay. I'm still. I mean, I'm concerned because all this is gonna all this affects Brock Purdy. So, and Jordan Mason continues to run the football well. Had another good game against the Vikings. So, at least they're running the football well. I mean, not to say that the passing game hasn't been great. I mean, it's not like it's not what it was last year. The offense is not what it was last year. But, now you lose Deebo Samuel, and you saw how Brock Purdy played without him. So, and you're already without McCaffrey. So, you know what? Purdy's going to have to step up. The other guys on the team's going to have to step up. But I think at least for these next two games, if Deebo's going to miss at least the next two games and come back, they'll be okay. Because, again, the Rams they should beat, and I think they should beat the Patriots at home. Although the Patriots, are not a pushover. So, but as for the Rams, yeah, it's not looking good for them. Their season is slowly getting away from them. But let me know what you guys think about the latest injuries. What do you think their impacts are? Or just any comments you may have on it. I mean, obviously the impact of them is huge. But any thoughts that you have on the injuries that we've had to deal with so far in this young NFL season. So we are going to take our next break. And then when we come back, we'll do some more game recaps. We're going to talk about the Raiders defeating the Ravens. Comeback win for them. Gardner Minshew, yet another win in Baltimore for him. So we will get into that when we return from our next break here on the show. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.